Good morning, Melbourne. We're on our way to the eBay event. How far is it, Tom?
10-minute walk.
10 minutes. So we've decided to walk instead of catch a taxi.
All right, left here.
We're ready, left here. Okay, this is going to be fun. Are you nervous?
A little bit, not a lot, just a little bit.
It's very nerve-wracking for me because you walk into an event room and there's some people that you know have no clue who you are. The ones who do know who you are, you don't know who they are that knows who you are. Some people know who you are and they don't say hello because they're too embarrassed or they're shy or for whatever reason they don't say hello. Some people don't say hello because they don't like me. That's just facts. And then there's other people that are like excited to meet you. So I don't know. It's kind of nerve-wracking going to these events.
You gonna film this?
Yeah. What am I? Do they not have those in other places of the world?
They don't make the same noise these do.
Where is the noise? So,
Comes out of the box.
in case you don't have these around the world, push the button to cross the road. You've got the little light over there, which has got the man on it, and he's red, which means don't walk. And then you get the green. I'm sure they've got this around the world.
Yeah, a lot of places do, but this does not make the same noise.
Doesn't make the same noise. Can you hear it? Beep, beep, and then it'll go. There
There
it
we
is.
go.
The famous noise.
It is the
Nobody else has
famous
that.
noise. No, well, they've got different noises. They don't have that noise.
Righto.
All right, so we're going left. This is called a throw up.
Throw up.
Yeah, the idea is you just throw it up. It's a quick outline, a quick fill in, and then they put an outline on it. It's done very quickly.
I've noticed, and I don't know if this is a nursery, but I've noticed there's a few little garden shops and nursery shops. And there's another one across the road, Fitzroy Nursery.
I think that's the same because they're both Fitzroy Nursery. One's indoor and one's not.
Right, indoor and out. I just really like that, even though you're in like the city area and they're trying to encourage people to have, you know, little plants and trees from their balconies. What are you pointing to over here?
This is the cool thing. You just walk along and you've got this pretty awesome artwork in laneways like this.
Against a house. Imagine if that's your house. Is this the right way where we're going?
No.
Or you're just looking at that artwork again? Now,
Babe, see
what's
the
the
gargoyles?
purple bin for? We don't have purple bins.
See the gargoyles
Gargoyles? What's that?
on the concrete statues?
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
But what's a purple bin? Because we don't have purple bin. Oh, glass. That's
Looks like
interesting.
recycling maybe.
So yellow's normally recycling for us. Red is rubbish.
Oh, it's
Green
just
is
for
green
glass.
waste.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just for glass.
How
We
interesting.
don't have that. Wonder if we'll get that. Look at this place with all the vine growing on it. That looks so cool, doesn't it? And then in the middle one, they've got a different colour vine. So pretty.
That's a
But
fire
imagine-
hydrant.
But imagine if that's your house and that gets graffitied on your garage, the fire hydrant. That's old looking. But look, imagine if that's your house. That looks like vandalism. That doesn't look like a piece of artwork. That's like somebody vandalised your house.
Yeah, well,
I
you
don't
get
like-
that.
I don't
That's
like
living
that.
That's living in the inner city.
Well, you think you just got to expect that if you buy one of these houses?
In this area, yes. But I think that's completely wrong.
Yeah, that's just vandalism. That's rude. I'm glad we didn't take the taxi because it's actually really nice to look
Yeah, it's
at the
fascinating.
streets because it's so different. I like it. Honestly makes me feel like I'm in an overseas country or something. It's so different.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And it just gives you an insight and a experience that you wouldn't otherwise get catching taxis. I think it's really nice just to walk through a new area.
I like it. I really do prefer it over Sydney. It's not busy. It doesn't feel busy
Look how
here.
beautiful this street is.
This would feel, look at the trees. But if this was Sydney, it would be really busy already. On the roads, I mean. Like it doesn't feel,
Well, it is. If you look at all the traffic over there, it's absolutely flat out.
yeah. But even in these little streets, like in Sydney, it feels like it doesn't matter what little street you're going to, it's busy.
Well, here you've got a lot of people walking around. They're walking dogs. They're exercising. I mean, it is, 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's still fairly early, but there doesn't feel like there's a rush around here. But
Yeah.
you walk a couple of blocks that way and you'd see a rush.
I like all the colours of the graffiti walls. They're pretty.
The guys that did this, they're from Canberra.
Canberra.
Yeah.
How do you know? Where's their name?
I just recognise the style and some of the stuff on there.
Oh.
So this is pretty cool.
Look at the real estate signs, you know. It's already got the graffiti on it. It's saying, you buy this house, this is what you're gonna get. But I like the mixture here of like the street art, but then it's got all the trees and the plants hanging over. Like, I love that, the different layers of texture. Okay, so that big building there is where the eBay Roadshow is. And the map was telling us to go straight down here, but it's all blocked off because they've got the big crane there doing something. So we're gonna have to do a lap around. That's okay?
That's
Luckily, we
terrible.
got plenty of time. I didn't want to be first one there anyway. No, thank you. Look at these cute little, like almost like little bell bottoms. This is what I like about our jobs. We've got the freedom to come up here, go to an eBay event and stay, but while we're here, experience a new place, eat nice food, stop at a whole lot of different thrift shops on the way, make a 3-day trip out of it. And like, that's one of the best things about this job and working for yourself. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's good to have that freedom.
Yeah.
To our first solo roadshow of 2026. And really thank you for being here today. I do know it's not easy to find half a day in your calendar, so really appreciate your time today.
Okay, we are driving home from Melbourne now. Our Melbourne trip is done, and what a weekend. I feel very tired actually, like it's been a really big weekend. Yesterday I was up editing till nearly 1 a.m. in the morning after the day yesterday of being at the whole eBay Roadshow workshops, and then we came home in the afternoon after we went to a few thrift shops. We came home in the afternoon, I did some editing, then we went out to some dinner with a couple of awesome resellers, and then after we came back from dinner I still had to finish my editing, and I will say that late night has probably ruined me. I feel a little bit, I do feel tired. So what's the time now, Tom? Can you see?
It's 2:30.
2:30 in the afternoon. We basically got up early this morning, went to breakfast, and we've been out thrifting at all the Melbourne shops. So we'll talk a bit about that. Do you want to? Will we talk about eBay first or the shops?
Let's talk about eBay first.
Okay, let's talk about eBay. eBay Roadshow. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, so
My only criticism was probably that the venue was a little bit small. I thought the room was a little bit tight, and that's probably only because I've been to other eBay functions and other eBay roadshows, and they've always had much larger venues that seem to be able to spread out a little bit more. I thought this one was maybe a little bit small for the amount of people, and I feel like if they had a bigger room they could have also had more people, because I do know there was a lot of resellers who told me that they wanted to go to it and the tickets were sold out. So I do think they could have expanded it, bigger location, bigger room, and had more people. So that's probably my only real criticism about it.
I think they would have learned a couple of things from this one for the next two. The next one in Brisbane, or the next one in Brisbane and then the one in Sydney, is that they're trying to get people interested in signing up to certain things, but they don't have a way of taking down people's details like email addresses. So that wasn't well thought through. Apart from that, the delivery, what they were talking about was quite interesting, and the delivery was quite good. They had a seller panel, I suppose you could say, which was all men, and that copped a little bit of criticism.
Yeah, a few people said to me that couldn't they find a woman for the panel? So, yeah, I mean, that didn't really bother me. I like hearing anybody speak, whether or not they're male or female, but obviously it did bother some of the women that there was no women up there representing them, so that's probably some feedback to give back to eBay. But
And you don't want a female up there as a token gesture. You want a good female reseller up there because they're a good reseller, not just because they're a female. The other thing is that their speakers were good. I thought it was interesting, the guy from Auto 8, I can't remember his name, he said at one point, he was talking about he's listing car parts and bits and pieces on eBay, and he said at one point, it's not like listing clothing. He's
Like
saying that car parts are harder to list than clothing.
Harder.
And that I wouldn't say that went down too well with the crowd.
No, it's definitely like a rustle within the crowd with people like, what? Has this guy ever listed clothes? There was one girl sitting near me and she just looked up and said, did he say clothing wasn't hard to sell? List, I spend 1 to 2 hours on every single listing. She was a designer clothes seller. She sells very high-end designer clothing, and she was quite offended that he insinuated that listing clothing wasn't a lot of work when she's spending 1 to 2 hours per listing, which, guys, I think is personally 1 to 2 hours per listing. No. Got to make that quicker.
I think the only other thing I'd say with the seller panel, again, they were a bit hard to relate to because we're talking about big business, well-polished, successful entrepreneurs. Where was the reseller? Where was the person that's out there getting the second-hand clothing and reselling it? You had the card guy, the guy that was selling Pokemon cards and collectible cards. They did a bit of second-hand stuff, but their business, by the sounds of it, was ginormous.
Oh, they talk about having in-house tech teams, and so they are at that next level of business, which can be very inspiring as well to kind of look up to and be like, look, these people started on eBay many years ago and now look where their business has grown to. So they can be very inspiring I like hearing big business talk like that, but I do think that when they've got a variety of people in the room, and I would say there's more smaller sellers in there than larger sellers, I definitely feel like they need to have that representation of the mix of levels, I guess.
So, but apart from that, I think, as I said, the delivery was good. The venue, the seats were too close together. That was a bit squashed in, but I think that's because they had that many people there. So I think they would have benefited from a bigger venue where they could have had more people. It was a popular event, certainly.
Yeah. Great location, Bud.
Yeah, terrific location.
I absolutely loved the location of it. It was a real vibe, that area of Melbourne. I've never been into that particular part of Melbourne, and I thought it was a real vibe, and I really enjoyed the couple of nights there and walking around and looking at the streets and the food and the whole atmosphere of the place made it a great place for somebody travelling to stay. But there was a lot of resellers there that had travelled up by train, like who live in the Victoria, I guess, region, but they're still like 1 to 3 hours away, and a lot of them did have to catch the trains and stuff because it is hard to park around there. So anyway, that was good.
But it was also good to meet a whole bunch of your viewers, Robert, David,
Victoria.
Michael, Jen.
Jen was great. So Jen is in the Tech and Sports group with me, and I've been talking to her online for months and every single week, and so it was so good to actually meet somebody that you talk to on a regular basis. So that was really
Thomas
good.
as well.
Thomas has been following me since I very first started up this YouTube channel, and I recognised him straight away because I recognised his little profile photo with his beard and everything, and as soon as I saw him in the room, because he told me that it was coming, like I knew straight away it was him. But yeah, it's really nice to meet people that have been following me for so long. Like, it's not just the occasional video. These people have been following for a long time, and I'm so grateful for that support. So yeah, shout out to those people that I get to meet that have been watching me for a long time and so many videos.
What was the number one takeaway or the best thing you got out of it?
Oh, I think the big takeaway is that eBay are actually really trying to make some big changes at the moment, and some of those changes are bigger than I kind of even expected or thought they would be. I think there's a lot of time and energy getting put into the AI at the moment, the live streams, and just these changes in general to try and bring in the casual sellers and try and bring more people to the platform. So I think there's definitely changes happening to the platform, and I think that's a good thing.
I think it's the most changes I've seen eBay do in the last probably 10 or so years, and I think it's really encouraging to see they're actually being very proactive. They're investing heavily, and they're actually really going quite hard. I'm quite pumped up and quite inspired after going to this, because you see that, okay, they're making changes, they're making improvements, they're being proactive, and that I find is energising.
Yeah, because I think for you, like you sometimes say you have a love-hate relationship with eBay. I think it's more a love relationship. I think you're very passionate about it, the business and the platform. But I think for you sometimes get very frustrated because you feel like things are slow moving on the platform and you'd like to see that faster growth. So I think for you, it's really good to see those, you get to talk to them and you can see that some of the changes that they're trying to make, they've been trying to make for a long time. It's just a long process for them to implement it and go through all the red tape that's actually involved in getting the change to happen, especially when they have to, Australia has to get everything approved by America. But I think it is very exciting to know that they're doing changes on the platform and there's different things coming, and it'll be, I guess the reselling world is going to change in the next 5 years. Selling online is going to change in the next 5 years. It's different. So, everybody got given a tote bag, and inside the tote bag, I didn't really look, but I think there was a notepad, pen, a hat.
That doesn't fit my head.
There was a hat in everyone. They did have a few prizes at the beginning for people who they had a little game to play, go around and meet different people or something and tick it off your list. And they gave away some good prizes for that, I think.
But I think it's exciting times, and I think it is. It's reassuring to see. Okay, eBay is actually, doing more than it appears behind the scenes. Because, I mean, we've tried to reach out to eBay, or I've tried to reach out to eBay before for certain things, and you speak to customer service, and it literally never goes anywhere. And the good thing about going to these events is you can speak to someone that's quite high up in a role, and if they're not the right person for what your issue is, they can direct you to someone else.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really beneficial.
I think the other exciting thing that they announced was they're doing it already in the UK, I've noticed, but they really want to bring more seller community into it. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to find hosts for different towns or states or locations or areas where you live, and they're trying to find these hosts who can host community get-togethers, and eBay will help provide some funding for that and some stuff. And if you have to pay, like, I guess for a location room or something, depending on how many of you are local to get together, but they're looking for hosts to be able to organise these meetups. And the idea is these aren't meetups to like get everybody's complaints or problems or whatever about eBay and then go back and relate to them to eBay and get them all fixed. It's not like that. It's more just a community networking group, and they're willing to put some money in to fund it to get the resellers together and the sellers, not just resellers, sellers or resellers. They want to be able to get those people together, and so that you're networking with each other, but it's not actually like so much a related thing. There's no eBay worker there. It's not, the information that's shared there is not really going back to eBay or anything. It's simply like a eBay get together, and they will help announce where these locations are and who's hosting it and stuff. And I know they've been doing it in America, and it's been working really well. Not America, sorry, they've been doing it in UK, and it's been working really well for those sellers. And there's a lot of people who have made friends now within their community, and I think that's good.
Oh, that's a fantastic move.
I think they're trying to, reselling or selling online can be a lonely job, and just having people to bounce off. And when you're local, it's not like you're giving all your local supplier details away to each other, but you've just got people who are like-minded doing the same things that you can hopefully sit around and have a coffee with and become friends with. And that's the whole intention of it. The whole intention of it is just somebody to host an event, everyone to have a coffee or a drink and hopefully make some friends. And it's really got nothing to do with going back to eBay. Just eBay are willing to help fund costs for it if there's any costs in, like, I guess, hiring the room for a coffee shop. Maybe they'll shout everyone a coffee, who knows, like that.
I just want a hat that'll fit my head. That's all I want.
I just want a t-shirt. So I just want one of the eBay t-shirts.
But no, I think it's a terrific idea, and I think even if, say, if you were to organise one in Canberra, small community, multiple people selling the same stuff, you will more than likely have competitors there. But I think there's a lot of power in networking, working together instead of working against each other.
Yeah.
And I think it can be a real lonely existence selling on eBay. And also, if you are in a family and you sell on eBay and you're constantly going home and talking to your wife or your husband or your kids about eBay stuff and they're not interested, you know, it's really detrimental. You want to talk to people about eBay stuff. Who better to talk to than other eBay resellers?
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a really terrific idea, and I'm looking forward to you organising one or two of those. So that should be fun.
I might get roped into being a host of one of the local ones. We'll see. Yeah. Well, we used to do that when I was a photographer. We'd have like little photography meetups in some of the local cafes, and all the local photographers were just like, it was like an all-for-one welcome. Everybody want to come along and meet other photographers who are all were within Canberra. And that was how I met friends in the photography community, by just going to these meetups, which were basically just like come and have a coffee and say hi. And they were just organised within their Facebook group for local photographers. And that was how I made some of my photography friends. So yeah, I think there's a lot of resellers in different towns, and a lot of you are probably sourcing at the same areas and stuff. You don't have to give away all your sourcing secrets. It's just nice to be able to talk to someone and make a friend. And there's a lot of people who have made very good friends, best friends, in the reselling community. And I've made some wonderful friends in the reselling community, and I don't really think of them as threats or anything. Even Tom or I, like, we were both selling. I mean, Tom only started selling books because I wouldn't buy his books, but at the end of the day, we go sourcing all the time. We both sell books, but it doesn't ever really feel like we're in a huge amount of competition while we're in the thrift shop looking at the bookshelf.
I can't compete.
Well, I mean, you generally will go to the CDs and stuff first anyway, which I'm not interested in. You go get first pick of them. I go look at the books, but you and I source different books anyway, so...
I do notice, and I noticed again today, that I've got this bad habit of, I'll look at a book and go, that looks like a good one, and then I'll hesitate and leave it there. Then you'll swoop past, spot it and go, oh, grab it straight away. I'm like, yeah, not again.
You're second guessing yourself.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So I've got to stop doing that.
Well, the one today that you're particularly talking about, now I didn't comp that book, but I know the topic of it, and I know it's a topic that I often sell for very good money.
Yeah.
You obviously had an idea that the topic as well, without knowing the book. A lot of the shops today, we didn't have any service reception in, so you couldn't actually sit there comping the books. In that particular store, I had my hands absolutely full, so I couldn't be getting the phone out anyway comping, because my hands were so full. I was holding all types of things. But I knew straight away that topic, and I still, to now, I haven't comped that book, but I'm pretty guaranteed that that book's going to be an easy sell.
Yeah.
And you missed out.
Oh well. So I think it was really good on the way to the event. We're almost there, and I said to you, do you have your bookmarks? He said, oh no, I don't. I'm like, all right, we've got time. We'll rush back and get them. So we rushed back, got them, came back, and we're a block away, and you point out and you go, there's Chris, and you're yelling out, Chris, Chris. And I don't know this guy. And I yell, Chris! And he's like, and he comes up and he gives you a big hug, and he sees I look a bit jealous. And he's like, do you want a hug too? I'm like, yeah, I'll have a hug. Give him a hug. And that was my first introduction of CL Furlong.
CL Furlong. Chris Furlong, great guy, great reseller, great YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of respect for Chris. He's been a very hard worker. He absolutely grinds away at his business and gives it his absolute all. So I've got a lot of respect for Chris. So yeah, shout out to Chris Furlong. Shout out to Kiddo from Queensland, who last minute, the night before the Melbourne thing, jumped on a plane and came down for it. He's another great reseller. And I got a lot of respect for Kiddo. And we actually went out for dinner with Kiddo afterwards, and also Jason Ramage, who used to be on the seller panel, but Jason is a very active member of the Australian Facebook groups, eBay Facebook group, and he's very, very much a fantastic helper to new sellers, or he's just so helpful within the eBay community. So got a lot of respect for Jason as well. So we got to go out to dinner with Jason and Kiddo, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
Always,
and I had a normal sort of moderate level of respect for Jason, but after meeting him, through the roof. And I think he's a real asset to the reseller community and a real asset to eBay. He should be on eBay's payroll as far as I'm concerned, and I mean that. And I think Kiddo is awesome as well, and I think he's taking resale to a whole new level, and I really like these guys that push the boundaries and push the possibilities, think outside the box, work hard and work smart. But I'll tell you this, when he got up because he had to go to the toilet, when paid the bill for everyone, we'll get you back for that, Kiddo. We'll get you back.
Kiddo's young, 28, and he's hungry, and I just look at how business minded he is and how he engages with other people, and he wants to learn more about everybody else. And when he's with these bigger guys who are very knowledgeable and experienced, he really sits back and soaks in all that knowledge. And I just feel like he's going to be very, very successful.
Oh yeah, without a
he's
doubt.
28 now and he's already successful. And I just think, man, you've got it together. And by the time you're my age, you're going to be set, because you're so cluey about it all now, and you've given up some of those probably earlier years of your 20s to grind it out and get where you are now, and now you're going to live this beautiful life where you can travel around and really live a successful life. And he's surrounding himself with successful people, successful business owners, big business owners, and yeah, I've got a lot of respect for that. And I'm almost a little bit jealous in ways, because I just wasn't that smart when I was young, and I just wish that I had been smarter with certain things around money and business. And I'm really proud of these young guys who just go after it. I'm proud. We've got two young friends that I've met through the Tech and Sports group as well. One's called Tyler and one's called Jeremy. Both young guys, both in their 20s. And I think Tyler's in his 20s. If he's not, he's only
28.
28, and Jeremy's maybe 24 or 25. Just got it together. Smart guys, work hard, got that real ambition to work hard now and then live that nice life. And I feel like I wish I kind of understood that more when I was younger, because now I understand it, but it's like I'm nearly 50 and I've got to, they'll be slowing down at 50, whereas I've just kind of got it, and now we won't be slowing down until I'm 70. So yeah, I really admire those young guys, or not just guys, anyone who's hungry for it in their 20s. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be harnessed and encouraged, and anything you can do. I put in a lot of effort with Tyler and a lot of effort in with Jeremy, and I'm very hard on those guys because I know what their capabilities are and I know they can handle it, and I want to see them be as successful and as happy as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because I think it's I don't know, it's hard to, it's just, you get a nice feeling out of helping inspire other people to do bigger and better. And I think
so
those guys,
deserving.
well, they are, and they work so hard. And I think that in turn, it gives you a good feeling. And I don't know, it's beneficial. It's just beneficial. But
Yeah.
I find it really interesting. So we spoke about, we've gone to the eBay event and we've touched on some of the eBay people and what was said, what's gone on with that. But the biggest thing about it is the networking, and it's not just with eBay, it's after the event, and it's the people you meet and the connections. And I'd urge anyone, if they're ever on the fence about going to an event like this, go.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'd say about it is Monday is not a good day to have it. I understand why they had it on a Monday,
Yeah.
but I spoke to a really good reseller in Melbourne. I'm like, I was disappointed not to see you at this event. One, he said he didn't even know about it. And then he said he didn't receive an invite. So it wasn't the invite. You invite yourself to it.
Yeah, it's on the seller announcements. You have to be looking at those things.
But he also cited that, well, it's a Monday. I can't go on a Monday because it's the busiest day of the week. And I fully appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes you just need to make that effort,
Yeah.
whether it's put the store on away mode for a day or whatever it may be, to make the effort to go to these events, because you might speak to that one person from eBay that solves a mystery for you that has been hanging over your business for 10 years. They might help you save or make a lot of money as a result, or it might be someone else you meet. One of the guys on the fireside chat that Kiddo introduced me to is a guy that Ben, from...
Yeah, I met him at another eBay event.
Yeah, now what is his organisation? The Authenticator?
Yeah, something like the Authenticated. Maybe?
Yeah, so he's got a fantastic business, and that dude is super smart. But he's come into reselling from a whole different background, and it's a fascinating story. And it's really, he's only been doing it for a couple of years, but he's that smart, and with his background, it makes a lot of sense. But a fascinating story. He was really interesting to talk to.
Yeah,
I got a lot out of talking to Ben.
Yeah.
And lovely guy as well. Very approachable, down to earth.
And the thing about, even Kiddo, young guy, been going to these eBay networking events, and not just eBay, he's been going to Retail Fest. He just went over to Vegas and went to another one that's kind of similar to Retail Fest, but it's almost like Retail Fest on steroids over in Vegas, a massive one. But he's making the effort to go around to these places, and he's actually sitting in and talking to the CEOs, and he's so interested in people that he will just get in there and introduce himself. And he's networking with all these really, really big business owners now who are the same age or more as us. And he's networking with those to be able to grow and learn for himself. And that's partly why he'll end up so successful. And I think the thing is, sometimes when you go to these events, don't be afraid to just, when they've got the food or whatever, don't be afraid to mingle with people or go up there and ask people what you do. Or when they have these panels of people that speak, if there's somebody that you find interesting, they're in the room, go up to them. Hey, your business sounds really interesting, and try and learn from these people, because I just find people are very giving with information at these events, and the big people are really eager to see the small people come up, because a lot of them have been there, and anyone that they can see that's hungry, and I'm sure that's the same with even Kiddo, and he's got in with these people who are big business guys. They can see that he's a hungry kid, and they want to help people that are hungry. It's like you wanting to help Tyler and Jeremy. You can see that they're hungry. You've got some life experience more than them. You've made mistakes over the time that you don't want them to make, and so you help them, kind of guiding them away from those mistakes. And those guys are going to be so successful. And yeah, it's nice to be able to, even these young guys, but I learned so much from them. I feel like I can give some experience and learn, these are what I wish, or I wish I'd done that, or good on you for doing this. But even I'm learning from these young guys and how hungry and ambitious they are, and I find it inspiring that they're hungry at that age when they could be out wasting their time partying and everything, and they're not. They're in there working solidly. I don't know, it's good.
I think it comes down to that tall poppy syndrome and I've always been against that. And I think if you see someone that's got good attributes, has got a good work ethic, is being smart, planning things out, if you can see them where there's a downfall that they may not be aware of, speak to them about that and say, well, look, what you're doing now, I've done. It didn't work for me for these reasons. I'm not telling them how to do what they're doing.
Sure, go out and try it, but
Exactly.
be aware of the problems up front that I faced, and that's giving back in a way, isn't it? There's something really nice about, just helping anyone in any way you can. Helping, it makes you feel good, doesn't it?
But I think how you said earlier how resale and eBay and everything is going to change in the next 5 years, I think it'll be, that's a given, but I think it's going to be a lot of bigger changes a lot more rapidly. And I think one of the points I illustrated to Jeremy the other day was I said, look, go as hard as you can on this as early as possible and then diversify investments, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what the future holds. You don't know if the whole resale industry could get turned upside down on its head and some major things could happen which just made it not viable anymore. You just don't know what's going to happen. So I encouraged Jeremy to go as hard as possible, and I suggested a few things to him, and he's all over it. He's like, I'm already doing that, I'm already doing this, yep, I've got a meeting with this person next week, etc., etc. But there was a couple of tidbits of information I was able to put through to him and say, look, I've just done this. This was really beneficial to me for these reasons. Have you thought about that? He's like, what was that again? And I'll write that down. And the difference there is he's very proactive. He'll actually go away and do something with that. And I think that is the difference. You've got to be willing to make decisions quickly, to pull that trigger, to execute and go.
Yeah, that's how I find Tyler as well, so proactive.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about it on a Zoom call with him, and the next 10 minutes later he's like, oh, okay, I've already done this, and he's like, he's already sorted it. Like, he's constantly working fast.
But this is the thing, and this is the thought process and the feeling, is you go to these events, eBay pump you up a little bit, other resellers pump you up a little bit. You are talking about some improvements, and not necessarily improvements, but additions and expansions and things that you're going to do, and that pumps me up tenfold. Because not only I'm like, well, if you're doing that, I'm going to have to do that as well, because I'm a competitive person. But also, it's just, if I see that you've been inspired to make a big change or a big decision, I'm like, okay, that's really inspirational to me. And I think these are the benefits for going to these events. So as I said before, if you're on the fence about going to an event like this, just go.
Yeah, but in saying that, you have to go and put yourself out there a bit as well. If you just sit on the chair quietly and listen to the eBay chat and then go home, you're not going to get as much out of it. You have to try and make that effort, even if you're socially uncomfortable with that and feel awkward about that. You've got to socially put yourself out there a little bit and meet people and go away and go, oh, I met this person, they sell this, they sell that, they do this, they do that. And I especially think the events that go for a couple of days where they have night stuff, and like Retail Fest, for example, they host parties and different events in the bars and stuff afterwards where people go to mingle, and it's a bit more relaxed and casual. And that can be an easier environment as well for some people to meet others and start talking. But I like the ones at the eBay one, like today yesterday where it's like 8 to 1, you really have to put yourself out there. And the thing is, when you go to a few of them, you start having familiar faces. That's what I found. Like a lot of the people that I'm very familiar with, it's because I'm familiar with them because I've met them at multiple events now, you know?
I think I have a tendency to stay in the corner. That's where I'm comfortable, and sort of look from a bit of a distance. And I'm not a social person. I'm not a mingler. I have a lot of people come up to me, and that's great. And I had there was a guy from eBay I wanted to speak to, but he'd spoken to a lot of people there. That was Lachlan. And he came up and introduced himself, and that was really good because straight away I was able to fill him in on who I was, what I did, and what I was interested in doing, and that was really beneficial. And I think something quite good will come out of that.
Yeah, he was great.
And you do notice, what I notice is I'll sit back and watch the crowd, and I'll see a lot of people that are very proactive and very high energy and intense, and they'll go around, they want to talk to everyone. And I think that can be okay, but what I'm looking at is the people that are sort of sitting back and they're quite reserved. And I feel if you're a reserved person as well, that's a great person to go up and go, hey, my name's blah, and this is what I do. What do you do?
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. It's just that level of networking, so you can do it still in your comfort zone. Like, you might have to go and say hello to someone and introduce yourself. That's not that hard. You can do that. You can be a fat penguin and break that ice.
Yeah.
And go and introduce yourself. And I think you're right, you do need to put yourself out there, but it doesn't need to be to an extreme level if you don't want to.
No, it's even like there's seats next to you. Talk to the person next to you, hey, how are you? A lot of people go there on their own, and a lot of people feel more comfortable talking to someone else than sitting there awkwardly on their own. So if you've got a couple of people awkwardly all sitting there, don't hesitate. People are very kind once you open up to them. Yep. So, I really like that side of it. And even the eBay staff there, they want you to come up and talk to them. Do you know what I mean? They want you to come up and ask questions. They want to ask about your business and find out how they can help you. So, don't hesitate to go up to one of the staff members there as well and be like, hey, I do this.
just don't do it in the way I did it to one of the guys, where he was in a noisy area, he'd been bombarded with people. This is a guy I really, really wanted to speak to. So I've gone up to him and I've gone, hey mate, do you mind if I speak to you over here for a moment? And we've just walked out the door. And he's like, oh, you caught me off guard there, a big guy come and speak to me outside. I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, it's just noisy in there, I just really want to speak to you. And that hopefully will be really beneficial. Nice guy. I think that was Chris, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was really good as well, seeing Rhea that works for eBay, and you've known.
Yeah, well, Rhea's been with eBay for quite some time, but she's kind of progressed into some different roles now. So it was really good to see Rhea at that event as well.
So, and I think she's another one of these key people that really is a gem in eBay. You learn that they're not against you. They're actually really nice, positive people, and they actually do care. And that's a little bit eye-opening for me, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to them being quite rigid, but that's because the contact and the dealings I've had with eBay have been with eBay customer service over chat or over a phone elsewhere. And I think she really is an asset to eBay, and I think they're probably quite lucky to have her.
Yeah.
And
she really listens to the community, and she really wants the feedback.
Yeah.
And so, because obviously with me with social media, I get a lot of feedback coming through my comments, through my DMs, through people just telling me their problems, right? So Rhea really appreciates when I can give the feedback back to her, because she relates it back to eBay. She knows she can come to me and go, Mel, what are the people saying? And I will tell her very honestly what the people are saying. Melbourne, what a great city. I could never live there. But I just don't think I could live anywhere in that kind of city environment. It's too busy for me. It's not how I want to live my life. But in saying that, I think Melbourne is a beautiful city. We had great weather. Sometimes Melbourne's weather can be hot and then cold and then raining, and they always say that it feels like you can get all 4 seasons in one day when you're in Melbourne, because the weather can suddenly dramatically change. But we were very lucky, had great weather. I think I do prefer Melbourne over Sydney. I think where we were, it didn't feel quite as busy. Even though we were in a busy area, it didn't feel quite as chaotic or as crazy rushed or anything. The people didn't feel as pushy as in Sydney. I don't know, sometimes you walk through Sydney and it's just like everyone's rushing. I guess they are rushing. I didn't really get that vibe from Melbourne. The streets were a lot calmer, busy but calmer. you could get a car park, whereas in Sydney you're always fighting to get a car park.
Car park and a parking ticket.
But yeah,
Thanks, Mooney Council.
Tom got a parking ticket for $100 because he $102, so it said something like parked for too long. And it was at the spot where we went to lunch, and well, first of all, actually, I had to find a toilet, and it was near impossible to find a public toilet in that location. And then when we did, it was so disgusting. And then we went off to go to the cafe, and Tom and I were waiting a long time for our meal, and the waiter kept coming over, and he was a great waiter, and he kept us updated all the time, and he kept apologising, like, your order's on its way out, I've just been to the kitchen. He was actually like a top-notch waiter.
Yeah.
But what happened was, another couple ordered the exact 2 meals that Tom and I ordered, and it got taken to their table, and they'd ordered after us. So our order was delayed because somebody else got our order. So that was where Tom got the parking ticket that says parked for too long. So
yeah, that really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I mean, you're there as a tourist, you're genuinely not familiar with the area.
But the place where our accommodation was, great location. It was 10-minute walk from where the eBay event was, but it was also like 2-minute walk to all the main street where all the cafes and the restaurants, and just walking along there at night, especially on the Sunday night. The Sunday night had a different vibe to the Monday night, but the Sunday night was very alive, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, very vibrant.
Very vibrant and colourful, and the shops are all open late at night. We noticed that a lot of the shops don't open in the mornings till like 10 o'clock in the morning, which is quite late. Like where we live, the shops would all be open by 9 a.m. A lot of them weren't opening till 10 or 10:30, and that's because they kind of go later into the evening. Whereas where we are, they open early, and it's like that 9 to 5 almost. Whereas these guys, there's more life afterwards or something. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. In terms of thrifting, we've got a full back of the ute. Oh, look at this poodle I bought. Don't ask me why I've bought him yet. I don't know where I'm going to sell him yet, but how I just couldn't go past him. He almost looks real. He's so cool. So yes, he looks like Tom's mum and dad's dog. Anyway, that's very cool. I am going to sell him. I just don't know where yet, where or when, but I might keep him as a little mascot for a while. I feel like a lot of people said to us, oh, wait till you see the Melbourne shop prices. They're so expensive. Wait till you go thrifting, you won't buy anything.
Wrong.
We don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Come thrifting in Canberra.
Oh yeah,
my
look,
goodness.
honestly, the variety was really good. The quality was really good. The prices were really reasonable. We did see some higher price stuff, but I'm used to going to op shops where there's one particular op shop that I used to really love going to, and a lot of their mediocre CDs are $8 and $10, $12 each. And you'll get the same CDs at any other op shop for $2, maybe $3 maximum. So in Melbourne, pretty much every op shop I went to, the CDs were $2. I paid $3.50 for one at a Savers store, but they always charge more.
Savers is a little bit more expensive than the others.
But Brotherhood of St Lawrence op shops, United op shops, really quite reasonably priced. But the thing that gets me is the variety and the quality.
Really great variety.
Yeah.
I found there was quite a lot of different books. Really good variety of books. I found the pricing of the books not too bad. Most shops were around the $3 mark. The first Brotherhood I went to was $3 for a paperback and $5 for a hardcover. The next Brotherhood I went to was $4 for a paperback and $5 for a hardcover. But in saying that, you can spend $5 on a book if you're going to sell that for a little bit higher. If you're only going to sell it for $20, not worth it. Right? But you can still pay $5 for a book if you're going to sell it for a little bit higher. And I bought quite a few nice books there. $5 was about the top that I saw books priced at. And I think that's pretty good. Down in Canberra, I'm seeing books priced at $8, $10. Like some of them even $20 in some of our, even the Lifeline shop at Fish Week, they have some of their cookbooks like $20. So I didn't see anything like that down here. It was like $5 tops. I will say I paid $15 for one book that I didn't comp, so I hope that I am lucky on that. But it was a different kind of book, and it was actually a pattern book, and it was a vintage Vogue pattern book. It was very large and had all the patterns inside it. I've never seen anything like it. And the Vogue magazines can do very well. Actually, I got a big stack of vintage Vogue magazines at the same shop, but I did pay up for this particular pattern book, and hopefully that will... I saw it right when I was at the counter. So you know when you're at the counter buying something and then you spot something to the left of you or whatever, and you go, oh, and you kind of don't have that moment to quickly pull out the phone and look at it. You got to make that spur of the moment decision on whether or not you're going to quickly take it or not. It was like that with the Vogue pattern book. So hopefully hopefully that wasn't a mistake and that actually pays off for me, but I have a good feeling about that anyway. So yeah, I feel like the books were great range and reasonably priced in all the shops.
Yeah.
In terms of the kids' clothes, that I picked up some kids' clothes for my granddaughter, $2, $4, top brands, beautiful quality. Can't complain about that. I sent a photo to my daughter and she was like, oh my goodness, that is the best range of kids' clothes in a thrift shop that I've ever seen. And it was great looking photos, a huge spread. The Savers books can be a little bit more expensive. They tend to sit around that $4 to $8 range maybe. Yeah. And they're not really that far. They're like $5.59 or some random amount. So I do find Savers a little bit more expensive and their clothing was a little bit more expensive than some of the smaller op shops. But one of the things that I really found was, compared to the Canberra shops, the variety of clothes is like nothing else. But that's kind of like the whole vibe of Melbourne is very different to the vibe of Canberra. Because Canberra is, politician central with the Parliament House, and we've got a lot of government workers, and so it's a lot of very neutral workwear, boring kind of... Yeah, it's boring. We're not the fashion capital, Canberra's not the fashion capital. We don't have a lot of... I wouldn't say we've got a lot of hugely high-end dress shops in Canberra compared to Sydney. If you go up to Sydney, you're going to get a much wider range of designer wear than you get in Canberra. So that kind of follows through into what you get into your charity shops. And so Canberra can be a little bit boring, I find. We don't really get anything. We don't live near a beach, so we don't get that cool surfy boho vibe either. We kind of miss out on it. We get that more of that corporate wear, or just kind of boring, if you ask me. Yeah. So walking into these shops and seeing racks of dresses and tops in colour and patterns, it's so visually appealing to me. And I look at the dresses and there's a lot of brands in there that I've never even heard of, because we don't have those brands down where I am, and they're just beautiful quality and colours, and I just think it's great. There was a lot of menswear that you were picking up. I
didn't buy much.
I probably think that the clothing we saw was probably ranged around the $5 to $15 mark for used clothing in the stores. And $15 obviously is quite high when you're reselling, but if you can sell that for a decent amount of money, then that's just sometimes what you got to pay.
Yeah, I think that's right. But the thing that gets me is people that are saying, wait until you see the prices of the op shops in Melbourne, you won't buy anything. Where are they buying stuff that they consider that expensive? And that's what I'm curious about at this point.
Well, just the type of inventory as well. We went into one shop, I must have seen at least 5 pairs of Doc Martens.
They were $60 to $80
They weren't dearer.
Yeah.
There was another shop that had a pair of Doc Martens for $25. But in all honesty, you would be lucky to see a pair of Doc Martens in a Canberra store every 6 months. Do you know what I mean? It's not coming through the doors.
Yeah.
They've got inventory that's coming in the doors that's high desirable stuff. You've got to be able to obviously get it there at the right prices But the fact is, it's coming through the doors and it's desirable items that people will want to buy on eBay. I said to Tom, it's lucky that I'm not a clothing seller anymore, because I would have needed a lot more time to go through the racks, because I thought the racks were, they looked very appealing to me. If I was a clothing seller, I would love to be sourcing in those shops.
Oh, absolutely.
If you saw what I had to source with in Canberra, oh, that was like heaven to me to see in those thrift shops.
Absolutely.
And I was like, Tom and I are kind of lucky that we're both in that media game, because we can walk in, look at the media section, and generally we can in and out, and so we can move along and see a lot of thrift shops in one morning. Whereas if we were clothing sellers and having to go through all of those racks, it would be a much more time-consuming experience, and we'd see less amount of stores.
Yeah.
So I think by niching down on that category, you can go in, out, and move along to the next one, and you can go to as many different stores as in your time frame that you've got to move around to, and get the largest amount of variety, because you're only looking at that niche. And then that might be the same if you're just like a men's seller. You might just have to look at the men's, or if you're just a dress seller, you're just going to the dresses and then moving on to the next store. But if you're like an absolute everything seller and selling everything, you got to put some time into those stores to go through every single rack. But yeah,
I think it puts an emphasis. What I'm doing is, my primary focus is CDs, followed by DVDs, followed by books. But I always have my eyes open for other items. It could be a certain clothing item, and I'm very specific with what I'm looking for there. It could be shoes, it could be some type of bag, it might be something else that catches my eye. And I think that is a strength that if you can develop as a reseller. So if you go somewhere and they don't have any CDs, but they've got a whole bunch of other stuff that you might know a little bit about, you've got a backup plan. So I think that's really beneficial. If you're a clothing seller, to have to go through heaps and heaps of racks, yeah, really time consuming. And you see some of these guys there and they're looking at every single piece.
yeah. I used to when I was a clothing seller. Every single rack. Yeah, very time consuming. But no, I actually didn't get the vibe that it was totally expensive. I even bought a pair of shoes to sell. Tom bought a bag. I bought some big Army Cadet steel-capped boots somewhere.
That was at Albury.
Oh, that was on the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was still a bit different for me.
A bit different, all right.
Hopefully I'll be able to sell those for some money. I can't remember. I bought quite a few different things, really.
Yeah. No, it was good. Definitely interesting. And some of the op shops there are very... You get quite a few where they put stuff that, looks really cool, vintage pieces. They put it up high and it's not for sale. And I've always not liked that, because I'm like, it's just collecting dust. They're not rehoming it. They're not bringing money in for their organisation by doing that. Sure, it looks cool, but what I prefer is make the store look cool, but also have those cool-looking pieces for sale. And that's one thing a lot of these shops we've just gone to were doing really well. They had cool paintings. They had cool paintings up on the wall, but they were for sale. They had cool items everywhere, but they were for sale.
Yeah, I don't think there was one shop in Albury as we came up that had some stuff up the top that said not for sale, but I didn't see anything within those stores that was on like the top shelf saying not for sale. Whereas if you go to Canberra, nearly all of the top shelf is like not for sale. And some of it's been sitting there for years, and you think, surely you're getting enough stock through all the time to be able to change the decorative items that you've got, like kind of like making the store look cool. I mean, the idea is that just fresh stuff comes along all the time, and that's the fit out and the decoration. I don't really see, let's keep this aside because this is vintage and looks cool. Well, surely you're going to get something else vintage that looks cool that can then be sold and make money. That is kind of frustrating as well. But I didn't see that at these stores.
Well, we went to one store and you complimented the ladies behind the counter on how great the store looked, and they were really happy to hear that, because they said they've just done a lot of work and really changed the whole store up. And they said it used to be a bit clunky and a bit of a maze, and they really opened it up. And it looked fantastic.
Great
it
shop.
really did.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I'd go, it's hard to get the feng shui right. And mainly because I just like using feng shui in a sentence.
But like, I will say, we went into one shop and Tom bought a whole heap of CDs there. And then he's paying for them at the counter, and he said to the lady, "Oh, do you have any more CDs that are out the back that haven't been looked at?" And she said, "Oh, none that are like ready to go out, only the ones that have just been donated and we haven't sorted through." And Tom said, "Oh, like there wouldn't be any chance that I'd be able to look through those." She's like, "Sure, just go out there and look for the girl with the orange tag and ask if you can go and have a look at them." There was no hesitation.
Yeah,
Like
it was really
just
good.
no worries, go out the back.
Yeah.
And we weren't even people that they knew. We weren't regulars.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing, a lot of people are very timid about asking things like this. But like, sure, you're going to get some charity shops to say, no, you're not allowed out the back. This was a big store. And she didn't hesitate to be like, "Oh, you want to look at the ones that we haven't even put out?" She's just seen that Tom's just bought a whole bucket load of them. Okay, no worries. Just go ask the girl if you can have a look at the ones sitting out there.
Yeah, so that was really good. And I think the thing I notice, and my distrust with some op shops and thrift shops is this. Donations come in and I'll see CDs getting donated. I'll say, I'll buy a whole bunch of those. I'll buy a whole bunch of those at your asking price, no problem. And I say, "Oh, look, can I have a look through those? I'd like to buy some." No, they've got to go to the CD person before they can come out to the floor. And that's when someone else is getting first pick and they're doing that behind the scenes stuff. And that's where I've got a bit of distrust with some of these op shops. So I think just having this person today being that friendly and that open, fantastic. She didn't know me from a bar of soap. There was no connection, but she can see I'm there to buy.
She wanted to sell more.
Exactly. And that's the way it should be, and I think...
And that wasn't a small independent store.
Oh, no, it was not. That was a big one. So, and they know what they're doing. I have a lot of respect for that op shop because they're very well organised.
Yeah,
and they give some of the really big guys a run for their money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was good. So, yeah, overall, enjoyed the trip to Melbourne. Would definitely like to come back to Melbourne and do some more. Even go to Melbourne to have a little bit more downtime. The last few days have been on the go.
Oh, it's been
last
flat
night
out.
for me, 1 a.m. finish, trying to get the video out. And this video that I meant to make tonight is going to be my first one that I actually don't make. And the reason why is I know the video that I've just filmed that should be in sequential order to go out next. I don't want to rush the editing of that. I know that I want to put some music in it. We're not going to get back until Goulburn until nearly 9 p.m. tonight. And I don't want to be editing here in the car, and I don't want to be editing when I get home at 9 o'clock. So I am going to break my streak tomorrow, which I do feel sad about, and I do regret not having another video in the bank so that I could have kept that up. I tried to have a video in the bank, but I've done my best. For 2.5 months I haven't broken the streak, but the thing is, the next day that video will be edited and I'll be back on the bandwagon. I'm not going to fall off again. So it's unreasonable for me to expect that I'm never going to have a day, but I can't. Last night I went to bed at 1 a.m. I can't pull another one of those tonight, or I'll be a write-off for the whole rest of the week. And I don't want to put out a subpar video of something that I want to really look at the footage of Melbourne, because we've taken some footage of us walking around the streets, and I want to incorporate all that, but I just want to, there's a lot of footage to go through, so it's a time-consuming video for me to edit the next one.
So quality over quantity.
Yeah, well, I could sit here and go, let's just film a 5-minute video now, and just to keep my consistency. I just don't want to do that. I feel like, no, I'd rather just skip this one day. I deserve that one day. And, then in actual fact, it's been a nice day today. We've gone out, we've gone thrifting, we've gone to lunch, we've travelled.
Got a parking ticket.
We're still filming here now. But then we'll just go home and have that nice early night. Well, early night, because we won't even get back till 9 p.m. It's a big drive. It's like 7 hours.
Yeah, it is a big drive.
It's not great for me.
Very tiring.
it is tiring, even just as passengers sitting here in the car. It's still tiring, and like, it's also tiring for Tom. So if I just sit here on my laptop with the AirPods in on a like, you can see it's bumpy. If I'm on this bumpy road, I find it very hard to edit and cut with the trackpad on the laptop. I really need a mouse. Where am I going to put a mouse in here? It's just going to make it awkward for me. My shoulder will seize up, and it's just not, I just don't think it's worth it.
No.
If I was getting back at 6 o'clock tonight, I would make that effort to maybe try and get the video out, but because we're not going to get back till 9 p.m, I'm sure everyone will understand.
Yeah, look, I think it's been a tremendous effort. I mean, originally, James from Bold Finds, his challenge to you was for a week or for a month?
It was for no time. It was just make daily vlogs.
Well, you hit that on the head.
I wasn't even sure after a week if I'd need a day off, or 2 weeks. I was like, I'm going to need a day off soon, and it's been 2.5 months. So I'm really proud, and I actually don't feel like I'm failing or giving up or anything. There was no dedicated time. It's just I just now know I'm going to get back on the bandwagon and be right back onto it. This isn't like me fall off. This is just a circumstantial thing, and this will happen every now and then. There will just be days that it's harder than others. And like last week, I double filmed a couple of days, so it's not like I didn't try and double film. But it's when you're away in a different situation, it's hard.
On that, someone suggested, why don't you film 4 videos in one day? And I mean, look, that's extreme for a few different reasons. It's more labour intensive making a video than people realise until they've actually done it. But I mean, you could film twice in one day at some point, and put 2 videos out one day, and still, as far as an average goes, put out 1 video per day on average. But you know what? Do you need to do it? You've proven that you can do it. You've become consistent with something that's very difficult to be consistent with. Whilst running an eBay business, whilst being a mother, whilst doing all the YouTube and dealing with me and all the travel and everything else that just goes into day-to-day life. And I mean, look, I think you should really be quite proud of yourself about that. So I think there's no second guessing, and it's like, I'm going to have tomorrow off for the sake of the quality of my videos, the sake of my own sanity, my energy levels. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you are up that late at night. And I mean, I was trying to stay awake last night. I went to sleep at 11 something, and I was exhausted.
You went to bed at 11:15, and I was still on the laptop in the bed in the hotel, and you said, how long have you got? And I said, probably an hour. And your eyes nearly popped out of your head like, what? I thought you were nearly done. And I'm like, I still got to edit this part, but I've got to do the upload and the download and the thumbnail.
I think I fell asleep while you were explaining what you still had to do.
And then I didn't finish till probably 1:45. And then by the time I kind of went to sleep, it would have been 1 a.m. And then I woke up. The last couple of hours, I was worried because I'd been editing so late that you start to worry, like, I hope I actually deleted that little bit that was meant to be deleted. I hope I didn't accidentally leave it in and forget to delete it. And you start to worry. And, when I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning, the first thing I did was grab the laptop. The video had already gone live. It might have been 7:30. But I was still like, I need to just check these clips to make sure I didn't leave in anything last night because I was working so late and so tired. So, and now tomorrow I've got this video that I've just filmed, and I'll be able to sit down there and edit it in the correct amount of time that it's going to take me to get the result I want for that particular video. And then next day starts fresh, and I'll be able to, I think the next day after that, when I get back into the warehouse, I'll be able to show the haul of all the items that I've just bought in Melbourne. So I hope everyone enjoys to see that. And it was interesting because in Melbourne, in quite a few of the op shops, there was no phone reception to be able to comp things. So I was really relying on my knowledge of, if I buy this here, do I think I'm going to be able to sell it and make that profit on it? Because I wasn't able to actually look some of these books up, and there was quite a few books there that I hadn't seen before as well. And I'm like, I wonder if this book, I've not seen this book. I'm looking at it thinking it looks like it would be a book that I would be able to sell for around this amount of money, but I actually don't know and I can't comp it. So I have to take those gambles on some of those items and pray that they're not duds just by going. So that's also another thing to consider when you are a reseller. The more knowledgeable you are, the easier it is to walk into a thrift shop, because if those kind of technologies are taken away from you and you have to go somewhere and decide spur of the moment, am I going to be able to make money off this? That comes from your past experiences, and that's very hard for a new reseller to go into a charity shop and get no phone reception, which a couple of them had no phone reception. And then how do you know? You almost have to take photos of them, go away to the phone reception, go and study it, and go back and get those books.
One thing I found really interesting was that there was an op shop directly next door to where this eBay meeting was. And we went into that after the eBay meeting. And you still got stuff and I still got stuff. And you're like, there won't be anything there. It's just had 50 resellers go through it. But it's either they didn't know, they didn't go, or they missed stuff. So it just goes to show, and stuff may have just come out, but I don't think so. It just goes to show that, you know, even if you only pop in for a minute or two and just have a quick squiz around, you can still find stuff.
Yeah, that was really interesting because that was literally right next door to where the eBay event was. Multiple resellers that I spoke to said, we're going now, we're going to stop in at the thrift shop. Some people who just met each other, going thrifting there together. Awesome, that's a way to make new friends, isn't it? Let's go over to the thrift shop beforehand.
Or enemies. No, I want that book.
Tom and I were literally one of the, we stayed talking to a couple of people and some eBay and that past everyone else had gone. They'd closed the event doors. We were the last ones to leave the actual eBay room. We were the last ones to go. So we were the last ones to go over to that thrift shop. And I had so many books. And then I looked at Tom and said, we've got to walk these back to the car. Back to the hotel. We'd walked from the hotel to the convention. It was 10 minutes. And
twice.
And my stack of books was large and heavy. And Tom said to me, look, which books can you put back? And I looked at them and I was like, I don't want to put any of these books back. And I didn't. Tom carried. It's like, Tom carried the books and I carried his light DVDs. Thanks. Thank you, Tom. But when that clicked to me, I kind of pulled back on what else I was pulling off the shelves. But I pulled all those off and I was like, I don't want to leave any of these books here. And it wasn't like they were $80, $50, $60, $80 books, but there were still books that I was like, I sell these books for $30 plus every time. There was a couple of books that I put together into bundles that I sell for $60 odd, and I wanted those to add to the bundles. And so I wasn't leaving those. I don't think I paid any more than $3 for any of those books in that shop that was right next door to the event. And I was surprised in that shop, and it does make you think. People are either looking for different things. Everybody's got different eyes, so you can walk into a shop that another reseller's just walked out of, and it doesn't mean that they've got all the good stuff. Everybody picks with different intentions and has a different eye for picking, and has sold different stuff in the past to know what's going to sell. And everybody has different. What sells in my store might not sell in your store, and different things like that. So yeah, very interesting.
But all in all, very successful trip. Invigorating trip, worth going to.
Motivating?
Oh yeah, big time.
You're inspired?
Yes.
You got more motivation now to come back and ramp things up even more?
It's not shining through me at the moment because I'm exhausted. It is exhausting for me. I'm an introvert, and speaking to people exhausts me. It really takes my energy.
But also you've got all these ideas in your brain.
Yeah.
And you're now flooded with all these new ideas.
Well, that's right.
So you're almost like your brain's in overdrive thinking about it. So it's once it starts coming into place that you're going to implement all these new ideas.
And I don't know if it's a thing, but I've also got sympathy-related exhaustion from watching you working so hard. For your benefit, I'm exhausted you know, as well. Just watching how hard you've been working.
But also that video that I put out this morning that I was up till 1 a.m. doing, that was a 2-hour video. And I'm like, I'm going away on a road trip and the video that I edit is freaking 2 hours long. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe we just kept answering those questions for that amount of time. Because we did it like in chunks as well. We'd do half an hour, then we'd stop at the toilet or whatever, and then we'd turn the camera back on. So when I got to putting all that footage in, there was nearly 3 hours worth. And I was like, I'm away. This is the day that I'm meeting with eBay from 8 until like 2-ish. And we were probably there till 3-ish at least.
Yeah.
And you go for breakfast in the morning, then you're there to 3. Then we came home for like a couple of hours where I edited before we then met the guys for dinner. Then go to dinner with people. You're quite emotionally, mentally drained from all the talking and the meeting new people and all the business talk and all the ideas that are going through your head. And then I'm there editing again. I'm like, this is not just me trying to put out a 10-minute video on the day that I'm busy and road tripping. Here I am putting out a freaking 2-hour video. Like, who puts out a 2-hour video?
That's dedication. Absolute dedication.
Oh, anyway, I've barely had time to even look at the comments for the last few days of the videos, so I'll be able to catch up a bit on that tomorrow as well. Tomorrow actually will be quite a nice, relaxing day. I'll be able to edit that video and just kind of catch up on comments, and I won't need to pack anything in the warehouse, so it'll be a little bit chill.
So, very good.
That's it. Oh, yes, toilet spot. Right.
How's that for time?
We're off. That was perfect timing. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being here for the Melbourne trip. Sorry about the day I'm going to miss tomorrow. I'll be back on the bandwagon the very next day. Bye. You meant to say bye.
Continue straight for 439.3 kilometers to exit to Goulburn.
I'm trying to concentrate on driving. Now look where I've parked.
Bye.
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 High five.
High five.
High five.
High five. The people in the car next to us must be like, what
They're
are
like
they doing?
freaking freaks.
Oh dear.
Do you have to go to the toilet as well, or just me?
No, I'm like a camel. I just hold.
Okay.
But the mic is stuck. Oh, there you go.
Loving you.
Considering where I'm parked, you're going to have to make it snappy because I'm on. Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. Do 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 do. Oh. So you get.
That's how we're getting. Better check the mic.